What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. Sorry for constantly being gone. If it's not one thing, it's the other. I've not been getting a lot of sleep. And because of that, my eyes been a little bit fried. And when my eyes are fried, I can't exactly wear contacts. And when I can't wear contacts, I can't look at VR. And when the last time I recorded a video, I fried my eyes so bad, I literally couldn't be in VR whatsoever to puppeteer my little avatar around. But it's all good again. I am back. Let's get some RPG horror stories for today. I love playing as a psychopathic backstabber. I recently came upon this post in a D&D group. I love playing as a psychopathic characters, the kind with deep-seated trauma, cowardly, selfish, and is prone to betraying their own party members. Honestly, can't tell if my teammates actually enjoy it. Some say they do, some don't. God. I'm reading this and I'm trying to read as somebody who's jubilating about oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing a psychopath, and I bet everybody loves it. Let me be honest and clear to you. If you're playing as a person or as a character that betrays the rest of the party, the likelihood is, more often than not, unless some sort of a bit or everybody's in on it, your party does not like when you betray them. Nobody enjoys somebody that betrays somebody at a party. Imagine, if you will, you spending a weekend, spending a Saturday to play with your friends, and one of your friends decides, hey, I want my fun to be ruining other people's fun and betraying the party, screwing them over, and that's my entertainment. You know what happens? You ruin other people's entertainment because you're the jackass at the table that's literally ruin other people's fun because you're finding ways to screw over somebody else instead of playing with them. Is there anyone else out there who enjoys betraying their friends like I do? I'd love to hear different perspectives on this and find some like-minded players. If there are enough of us, I'd even love to get a group together to play. Oh yeah, sure, let's take all the crazy psychopaths that want to betray everybody, put them together. What could possibly go wrong? Let me tell you, everything is gonna go wrong. You don't need to be a genius. Hell, I am not a genius, even I know that's gonna go wrong. You have an entire party of little a-holes that want to try to betray each other? Yeah, that's definitely not gonna derail into some sort of a crap fest. It's gonna be a crapshoot of a game. Honestly, it's gonna be miserable. The reason you're having so much fun is because nobody else is focusing on betraying the rest of the party, but you're the only one focusing about betraying the rest of the party. If suddenly out of nowhere you had somebody else playing and be trying to betray you and betraying the rest of the party and screw everybody over, you probably wouldn't find it so entertaining. The reason you find it so entertaining is because nobody else is doing it except you. You're the jackass at the table that's getting the kicks and the jollies out of screwing everybody else over. But suddenly, if it's on the other receiving end, you probably would enjoy it as much whatsoever in the slightest. I mean, sure, you could probably get together some people that's just, that's what they're doing for a bit. That's what they're doing for a one shot. Everybody's against everybody and you just find silly little ways to how basically screw somebody over, stop somebody in the tracks. But guess what ends up happening? Nobody can make progress because nobody is making any kind of progress because everybody's screwing each other over and the DM is just narrating, oh, you screw him over, oh, you screw them over. And constantly, non-stop, and nobody can make any damn progress because everybody's constantly just screwed, and not even in a good way. I wish we at least screwed in a good way, but not in this situation. Update. It's been 3 hours since I posted this, and I just realized that betraying your teammates or roleplaying in a way that intentionally makes the game harder for everyone isn't considered normal. No, really? Really? That's not normal? Man, gee willikers, Batman, I could have told you that myself. What a strange yin and yang flip-flop kind of response. It's been 3 hours, and I just realized, guys, being a dickhead towards everybody is not normal. Huh? What kind of realization is that? What? To be honest, though this is how it's normally played, some people are just a wimp who don't like it. I thought the top comment was exaggerating that betraying can be trauma-inducing. That made me feel like I'm a menace towards the society. Truthfully, I really enjoy this playstyle. I love making things difficult for others by roleplaying as someone who stupidly triggers traps or makes terrible decisions. But I guess I can't do that anymore. Shame. I do not want you at my table if that's how you're gonna play. If you're gonna play like an actual purposeful idiot that's gonna make it more difficult for everybody else, I do not want you at my table. In fact, I think 99.9 tables would not want you at the table. If you want to find the one table that actually wants to have a gullible little idiot that triggers every trap and screws everybody over, you'll probably be on the receiving end of that treatment yourself as well. If you could gather all the problem players together and all the problem player DMs and to stuff them together in a corner and just force them to play together. I mean, it would make the rest of us feel so much better, and then we'll have like 6 or 7 different games that are somewhat being played and then immediately failing immediately because people realize, oh my god, I'm playing with a jackass. I don't want to be playing with a jackass. Guess what? You are the jackass, because that's what it's like playing with a problem player. They literally are a nuisance. They cause the games to not go right. Whether it's a pervert or just a problem player that is horrible at the table, somebody that's a man baby or man child or misogynist or misandrist or whoever. Problem players are problem players. They're not fun to play around with. It's not fun playing with somebody that actively tries to ruin other people's fun. It's not cool to do that either. Imagine, if you will, you're having fun, you enjoying yourself an ice cream, and I just come on over, I'm like, huh, they enjoying the ice cream. How dare you enjoy your ice cream? You enjoy that now. Ice cream's all over the face and on the ground. Enjoy that. You probably wouldn't want me at your table as well, or really anywhere around you when you're enjoying your ice cream. It's kind of like the same thing. I know that ice cream and TTRPGs are wholly different, but just go with it. Pretend like you understand what I mean. When you're playing with somebody that acts like a psychopath, if it's for like a bit, if it's a for ha funny, without trying to screw people over, you could definitely make it work. But if you're actually actively going out of your way to ruin other people's fun, I don't want you at my table. And I don't think you're gonna be welcome at most people's tables. In fact, good luck finding somebody that actually wants to have somebody like that. Let's go ahead and continue with the next story for today. I ditched a campaign today. This is very mild compared to most things here. I was playing a fabulous ultimate game where we had a major in-character disagreement over what to do with cornered enemies. I wanted to take them in. Another party member just wanted to kill them. Things got pretty heated, but stayed in character. But some of the reasoning of why we should kill them stuck with me over the following days and made me feel sick, and it veered into realms of dehumanization that hit me just wrong in today's political climate. I'll be blunt, this guy's someone I had friction with in the past. Nothing major, but I found him to be overbearing, and I just find his personality somewhat irksome. This is something that compounded that, so I messaged the GM asking if he could make a tone check next session. DM was very nice and said yes. Next session, we sit down and have a talk. DM says he's dialing the tone back and asks if anyone would like to say anything. I took the time to talk to the other player, pointing out the exact thing he had done that made me upset. He said nothing. He didn't even look at me. I was 2 feet away from him all the time. The game went on after that and I just felt sick, like I was going to vomit. About an hour into the session, I faked getting a text and went home. Felt a sheer dread driving into the game, dreading having to talk to the guy as I've not found him to be sympathetic towards my plight in the past. And as I learned, that wasn't a baseless feeling. Driving home, I felt relieved, like a weight was off my chest. I was now going back to that campaign. Haven't decided how much I want to be honest about it, but needless to say, I just don't want to play a game with that person anymore. I feel a little bad because GM was going his best to meet me halfway, and I've been letting him know he's a great GM. But when I'm trying to open up to someone about how they made me feel uncomfortable, and they can't say a word to me, can't even look at me, I don't want to share a table with them. This is a interesting story, I gotta be honest. Like, there could be a couple of things that I can think of. One, maybe the person actually does feel kind of bad. They just don't know what to say in a moment. Maybe they have a really difficult time expressing the feelings or talking about feelings. Like, some people, unironically, they play TTRPGs as escapism because maybe they have a difficult time expressing themselves, and playing in character or expressing themselves in character allows them to have that outlet. I haven't personally experienced this myself, but I know many people in the VR chat roleplay community that sometimes use roleplay to roleplay out like their traumas or their hidden feelings and stuff whenever they're in character and stuff. Or they make characters that have a little bit of piece of themselves where they project out, you know, and roleplay that out and stuff. And when they're in character, they're very expressive and they could talk about these kind of things. But when you talk to them like heart to heart one-on-one, it can be a little bit difficult because they kind of don't have this social equipment. I guess, yeah, social equipment to know how to kind of navigate that sort of thing and how to open up, you know? Whether it be one thing or the other, it's just difficult for some people to open up unless they're being a character, or unless they're allowed to, that have that escapism and to express themselves in some way. And some people are just like really awkward. Sometimes they have a hard time talking about feelings or just talking things out and stuff because they just don't know what to respond. I know quite a lot of people that kind of freeze up and lock up whenever you try to have like a one-on-one heart-to-heart. Like, they understand what's going on, they just don't know what to say, what's the right thing to say in a moment, and they kind of get lost, like, what's the right thing to say in that current moment. It's just, it could be a little bit difficult. Alternatively, it could be that maybe the guy is indeed a jerk. This person is a jerk and just kind of just stay silent because maybe they just don't want to have that conversation. Or maybe they're thinking, man, you're forcing the game to be for this just so we can talk about this nonsense and stuff. How dare you? And maybe they're, you know, thinking about how they're just gonna try to avoid you or something. I don't know. There could be multiple things going on. Obviously, communication is important. So if you communicate to the player about the way you feel and they don't tell you anything at all in response and just stay silent, won't even look at you, it's difficult to understand if the message is getting across, if there's some sort of an understanding standing there and stuff. Completely understandable. I would say your best bet is to honestly share these feelings with the DM, see what they think, and if honestly it can be worked out, the DM can help kind of bridge the gap and get the other player to talk. I mean, if the player makes you feel uncomfortable, but you enjoy the game, then I mean, no D&D is better than bad D&D, right? If it's that sickening to the point where it makes you feel nauseous, I wouldn't return. I just would find a different game with a different DM with a different people that don't make me feel like that, you know? I understand you enjoying the game and everything, but if you have to sit there to play a good game, but you have to stomach feeling nauseous sitting next to a player that you're having a disagreement with, I don't think it's gonna be worth it. Do yourself a favor and maybe find a different game. Obviously, of course, contact DM, talk with them about it, see what they think, see what they say. Like, if it generally is not gonna work out, it's okay. No fuss, no muss. Look for a different game, and I wish you good luck. People watching the video, what are your thoughts in the comments down below? What do you think? Well, you got any good advice to give to OP? I'm not great with words, right? Charismatic tiefling here is not good with words. Wow, guys, can't believe it. We finally reached that point where charisma doesn't matter whatsoever in the slightest. I mean, with some campaigns, it can be like that. Charisma doesn't matter at all in the slightest, but those are the sneaky campaigns that we don't talk about. Anyway, leave your feedback down below, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next story for today. Party tries to sell my wife into slavery. I was DMing a campaign for some newer friends I found at a local game shop. 4 party members in total, including my wife, who is a pretty experienced player. I made it clear at the beginning during session 0 that the campaign was a straightforward Forgotten Realms campaign with some dark and gritty story elements like racism and slavery. The intention was to use those to drive some narrative elements. Party were ultimately meant to be heroes. I have no idea how the people feel about the darker campaigns and stuff. I guess here's my question. What are your thoughts about darker themes in your D&D or TTRPG campaigns? Personally for me, like fantasy racism, like elves don't like dwarves sometimes, or dwarves don't like elves, or dwarves don't like dwergar and vice versa, or drow just hate everybody. Honestly, I think that can make for interesting dynamic, interesting drama for the sake of storytelling and not for the sake of like making somebody feel left out and stuff. Like if I'm introducing like, you know, some drow NPCs, they just don't like anybody not from the Underdark. Is that just for the sake of storytelling and not necessarily to be like, I don't know, some sort of a surfacer agenda? Guys, I was born in the surface. I don't hate the surfaces. I think surface is great, especially warm climates. Warm climates are fantastic for tiefling. I love them. But let's continue. We got to level 6 in just over half a year of play. No major issues except for one party member being a little overly edgy. Party was still stereotypically heroic. I noticed that the party hasn't had a lot of moments to really come together and connect, so I planned an encounter for them to come across a slave ship at sea. Slavers boarded the hero's ship and offered to let the crew go in exchange for all the females on the ship. My wife, the only girl in the group, laughed and told him to screw off. Another party member stated, "Jen, I don't see any other way out of this," and asked the other 2 party members if they thought the same. Both characters, all good or lawful aligned, agreed that this was the only way the slavers would allow them to leave. My wife was stunned and tried explaining that they could fight them off or offer for them to take just the party and break out afterwards. After a short and heated argument between my wife and the instigating player, he took shackles out and requested to grapple her character. What? What? Just over some slavers and bandits and stuff? You're like, oh yeah, we definitely can't fight them. Sorry, Jen, you have to take... Sure, Jen, you have to take the one for the team. Sorry, we can't do anything about it. We have spell casting and weapons and like extra attack if you're level 5. We have all these cool features and barbarian rage, but no, sorry, Jen. Couple of bandits, couple of these no do-gooders over there are clearly telling us that we have to do this thing. DM told us, so we have to do it. The DM is introducing a conflict for you guys to solve. They're throwing something at you to see how you react and respond to your actions. And this is what you choose? To throw your own party member under the bus? Why? The only thing I could think of is maybe they just don't like your wife and this is like the one moment to be like, okay, we can finally get Jen out of the game. Maybe. Before my wife could start cursing him out, I stopped the session. The 3 other party members started trying to justify their reasoning. I couldn't think of anything else that would have gotten us out of there. It's what my character decision would have been. Y'all taking this way too seriously. You can't think of anything else you can do in that current moment. Really, armed to the teeth with spellcasting, whatever features you have, with your fighter, ranger, a rogue, you have all these abilities and all these things that you can do, probably subclass abilities and spells that you can cast, and not a single thing comes to mind except, well, gotta give up on our own. Wow. Dude, your players suck. Your players really suck. In a moment, it's supposed to be like a team building exercise. They choose to just abandon the teammate. Maybe it's because she's the only woman. Maybe they don't like her. Or maybe they just find her really annoying. And this is just a great way for them to get her out or something. But dude, man, something is definitely going on. Are you sure you guys weren't having like some sort of issues, or the rest of the party just doesn't like your wife or something? There gotta be something going on behind the scenes, right? This can't just be the only one random moment of like, well, we have to do this, so I guess we have to. Sorry, Jen, take one for the team kind of thing. After I cooled off, I type out in Discord message, I'm going to address last night's session, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. The campaign is done. Y'all can try and justify your actions and tell me I'm taking the game too seriously all you want. At the end of the day, this campaign was for heroes, and each of you were willing to let your party members be sold into slavery at the drop of a hat. That wasn't just villainous, it was irredeemable. None of you even approached the idea of possible rescue or tricking the slavers, just straight up sell your friend to slavery. Realistically, if I were to allow that to play out, the moment she would have been freed, she would have hunted you all down. In no world would you be able to be a party ever again, and that's not the kind of campaign that I was running, that I was clear from the start. Hope you all find the campaign that you want, but not going to be with us. I mean, level-headed response, like, you're not just favoriting your wife just for the sake of that. I mean, could you? I mean, potentially. Like, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna. Like, at the end of the day, your wife is playing at the game and her character is basically being picked on by the rest of the party, which isn't cool. But also, I think it's a very level-headed response for the DM to do. You set your foot down saying, guys, this is not the kind of campaign that I'm gonna run. Sorry, if this is the kind of thing I want to do, I'm not interested in running. Maybe this could have been talked a little bit more at the table, but, you know, with the emotions and getting heated and stuff, probably was a little bit difficult to do. Having the players escalate the situation to this point, I mean, honestly, probably doesn't feel good as a DM. I had a group of players that recently went to a town full of Kenku that were just very distrusting of anybody, especially outsiders, and they started escalating things because the Kenku were being sus of the party that were outsiders. Wow, what a twist of a story. But anyway, when you have a situation where players are starting escalating stuff, I think the best thing to do is just to be calm and rational in that situation and just like talk it out directly to them out of character. Like, you gotta drop the DM card and just be like, guys, what are you doing? Are you sure this is really what you want to do? You can do other things as well. You can try tricking these guys. You can try talking your way out. Or hey, you can draw your weapons and shoot your spells and fight them through, because who cares about these guys? These guys are literally stopping the adventure just because of whatever. Unless it's a group that's specifically using this moment to just target your wife and bully your wife. Assuming the best of the intentions of these players, assuming they're actually just like, they just don't know what to do in a situation, so just going with whatever the DM is throwing at them and just thinking maybe that's the right thing to do. If the players generally have no idea what they're doing, and if this is the case and the players have no idea what they're doing, they're just going with whatever the DM, you know, whatever DM knows best. DM puts us in a situation, okay, we're just going with it. It's okay to tell your players, hey guys, you know, you can do other things, right? You can do other things, right? You have options. This isn't like some sort of a telltale experience where you have to choose option A, option B, or option C. You could do a bunch of different things. You could try convincing them, you could try tricking them, you could try to fight them. You got a bunch of things you can do. Are you sure you just want to throw your party member under the bus? Really? Is that really what you want to do? Is that really the kind of thing you want to be doing right now at the table? Like, yes, on one hand, it could make players feel like you kind of, you know, making them feel a little bit dumb, but like, sometimes you just gotta dumb it down for players that genuinely feel like there's no other way except what the DM, whatever the DM presented. The pirate said they gotta take some slaves. I guess that's what we have to do. I don't know. I want to give these guys a benefit of a doubt, but also it could be that they just, you know, don't like your wife, and this is a good way for them to start bullying your wife in some way. Be like, oh, finally we can get rid of Jen. God, she's such a bitch. Two of the players started ranting, but the other one genuinely apologized and felt horrible about his decision. So at least one of them wasn't completely unredeemable. Follow-up. I've seen several comments expressing that I caused this by giving the party the scenario in the first place. So let me clarify my intent. Me putting in grim story elements was never meant to give the party an option to do evil deeds. It was to give them obvious targets. The option to give the crew to the slavers without a fight was never meant to be an option at all. My wife had no issue with this scenario because she didn't expect that the party would even consider selling her out. At the end of the day, I appreciate the feedback. All DMs have different viewpoints. If I could, God, I feel like a Redditor. Hold on, DM, I got a suggestion for you. Me, the idiot tiefling on the internet. I feel like it's such a Redditor response, like, hold on, DM, excuse me. Anyway, in the future, if you're gonna have slavers, why not make it all opportunity slavers? Why just the women? Why not everybody? Why not just enslave everybody in a party and force them to become slaves and force them to fight their way out if they really want to, or submit themselves to become slaves at that point? Why only surrender just the women? Why not use everybody in a party? That Minotaur over there? I mean, pretty strong guy, pretty strong boy for sure. That Minotaur Barbarian could be really good at heavy lifting stuff. The little Goblin Rogue could be really good at sneaking things away and stashing things for us. Could be the sort of like a mule that locks it on Cleric. Maybe they could provide some sort of a medicinal usage for whenever the other slaves get sick and stuff. That could be very useful. I mean, if you really think about it, why would a slaver just use just the women when you have the entire party to utilize for their machinations and all their needs? I mean, a sorcerer dragonborn, man, that could provide quite a lot of value, especially if there's somebody of exotic variety. Maybe they have draconic lineage. Draconic blood could be rather useful, and if used and sold and marketed correctly, it could be very beneficial to somebody of really high buyer. Maybe they really want an arcane spellcaster at their behest, potentially. I think the scenario you ran is fine, but in the future, I recommend maybe putting everybody as a target, because if they're putting a single player as a target and you have this situation happen where other players go, okay, that's what the DM wants us to do because they really don't understand what's going on, then that could be it. Alternatively, it could just be that the guys are just jerks and maybe they just don't like your wife and they're like, well, that's a great time for us to get rid of Jen. Thank you, DM. I don't know. What do y'all think in the comments below? Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this last story, and we'll end off right here. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.